Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats typically in your direction if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The players, the hustlers, the people, the bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Thursday night throwdown has begun on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159, and the NBA playoff game has begun as well this evening, and it's getting real early tonight in the Mile High City. The Denver Nuggets facing elimination this evening. Oklahoma City have a 3-point lead at the half, but SGA has 4 fouls. The first time since 2022 that SGA had 4 fouls in the first half. He doesn't have a lot of room to work with, and they're going to go right after him in the second half here. One thing with Denver is they're pretty good under pressure. They're used to playing in close games. Oklahoma City are not. But Denver came out hitting every shot early in the basketball game. Yet Oklahoma City just sort of, stood their ground, hung around. They were down by like 10 at one, but it was 30-20 and ended up being 31-28 after the first quarter. Then Oklahoma City outscored them 33-27 in the second quarter. You get the theme here. It's a track meet, which probably plays to Oklahoma City. Now, we're on the Denver Nuggets on the money line. We did, I wasn't even about the points tonight. I was like, you know what, give me that nice money line. So we grabbed the money line, but we like the over of this game. We pulled the trigger on the in-game over as well, over 223.5. This game has pretty much been a track meet. I would expect the pace to be fast, even though it is an elimination game. In-game total, though, right now is 232.5. That's pretty high, right? I can't really fully recommend this. I guess if you're looking for a recommendation right now, I haven't given up on the Denver Nuggets. You're getting plus 180 on the money line. But, we've got the original over. What I got over 218, and then I bet in-game 223.5 in the first quarter, so 232.5, not enough. And sometimes I'll chase these totals, but this one I'm not. We're going to stand pat with this one. But I think the Denver Nuggets are going to be in this game until the final whistle. And it is a super entertaining game, actually. It's always the talk, the NHL playoffs are so much better than the NBA playoffs. These NBA playoffs have been, really, really good. So with the NHL playoffs, you know what I mean? They both can be good, right? Not everything has to be an argument. I know, it's sports talk radio and TV. We better argue everything. Not everything has to be an argument. There's enough things to argue about. You don't have to have stupid fake arguments, right? So They're both been good, but it's just got that edge. Like, you can just sort of feel it. It feels like a big game in Denver. The crowd is lit. Oklahoma City are fired up. The Nuggets are fired up. It has a big game feel, unlike the PGA Championship, at least in my opinion. And I know, listen, a lot of things can change between now and Sunday. And for the record, Johnny Vegas, 200 to 1. 200 to 1 to be the first round leader. And, he ended up, it was like a end of the day type of deal with the leaderboard change. But Johnny Vegas was 200 to 1 to be the first round leader. And I don't say this just because there's not like big names at the top of the leaderboard. A lot of the big names struggled earlier in the day today at the PGA Championship. But I think it's like normally you say, oh, it doesn't matter who the announcers are, and people could bitch about this play-by-play guy or that guy. And listen, I'm watching the game because I want to see the game, and I got money on the game, and I love the sport. So, whoever's broadcasting it is just sort of whatever. But with that being stated, it just, I don't know if it was the broadcast or, the event itself. Like, there's not even that many fans there. So, like, it doesn't feel like it's a big deal. Like, dudes are, like, there's a couple of kids in lawn chairs and stuff like that. The coverage, I just found it to be boring, and it didn't have, like, a major feel to it. It just didn't, right? Like, you can just feel it right away. It feels like a big game tonight. It has a playoff feel, or like, there's different levels of excitement and a vibe around a sporting event. Like we talked about it, the Masters is one of the best like sporting events in the last 25 years. Like, honestly, like people that don't even like golf, like were glued to the Masters this year. And why is it the course? Is it just, is that the one? I think it's kind of the one tournament that people kind of only really care about, the casuals. I'm not saying the diehards, but I was watching the tournament today, and I even bet on it, and dude, I was like flicking around. I was like, man, this is just like, this is just, it feels like I've seen like John Deere tournaments in the middle of the summer when I'm hungover that has more excitement than this. There was no buzz to it. Like the announcers sound bored. They were just rambling on about stupid stuff that had nothing to do with the tournament. They showed them like raking the freaking sand for like 5 minutes. Oh, there were some turtles. Like, the episode of The Simpsons when Homer stops drinking beer and he goes to a baseball game and he goes, I never realized how boring baseball actually is without the beer. Right? And in that episode, the Vin Scully voice on The Simpsons, and there's a beach ball on the field. And the ball boys are discussing which one of them will go get the beach ball, right? Like Homer's like dying, like watching this. And today I felt the same thing. They were like, God, there was a turtle in the sand today. They showed a picture of the turtle. And then it was like, and then they showed like these 5 stiffs, like, raking. I'm like, how long does it take you to rake the damn sand? All right. Like, just rake it and hurry up and let's move on with this. But it was torture. It was absolute torture. I even had money on this stuff and I couldn't watch it. If the People's Court was on, I probably would have watched that instead. So, but with all that being stated, we'll get you caught up to date with the updated odds. Caleb Williams tried to avoid being drafted by the Chicago Bears, supposedly. You know what? I just don't care. I'm sick of Caleb Williams. I was pro Caleb Williams. I'm just tired of it. I don't care, dude. And who knows if it's true, whatever, it's in the book. Supposedly he was willing to play in the UFL instead of going to the Chicago Bears. It's a little extreme, kid, let me tell you, as someone who watches the UFL, all right? It's a little extreme. He wouldn't even light up the UFL either. That's what I was going to say. It's like, I don't even know you'd win the starting job. Like, which team? Who are you better than in the UFL right now, Caleb? I know you think you're great, but, like, honestly, I guess he could be the quarterback for, like, Memphis. I'm not saying the teams wouldn't take him, but, the Caleb Williams story, and he just puts more pressure, like his family. Whoever wrote this book and stuff just made his life a hell of a lot harder. People in Chicago are already sort of hit or miss with this guy. He's not really a Chicago type of guy, and everybody knows it, but if he's going to be good, like, fine, but he's okay, right? Listen, I'm not an anti-Caleb Williams, player on the football field. I think he's got his limit. I think he's got a lot of flaws, but the whole circus sideshow and stuff. Like, I don't know, what was it the other day? Showed up with 3 models. How about like you work out with some wide receivers and get in sync and stuff like that? Turns out, like all these kids, he doesn't study, he doesn't know the tape, he doesn't know this, he just thinks he's great, and he's going to show up. I'm not big on the Bears, like I don't, just because Ben Johnson's there now. Anyways, everyone's flipping out about the schedule, as I stated. You know who the teams are playing in the NFL? The other teams in the NFL. There's your schedule. Breaking news: the Buffalo Bills are playing the other teams in the AFC East. Right? I get it for people that are planning trips. I just hate the drip, the constant drip of this stuff. Just release the damn schedule at once. All right, so speaking of schedules, the Carolina Hurricanes have cleared their schedule for the Eastern Conference Finals. Meanwhile, the Winnipeg Jets are facing elimination. We got a whiteout tonight, which rarely ever helps them. Them in Penn State, like, kind of a stupid thing. Doesn't work.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pits, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bust, and everybody else in between. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. So the Winnipeg Jets and the Dallas Stars are scoreless right now. We've played about 12 minutes, a little over 8 minutes remaining in the first period of play. An absolutely positively must-win game for real for the Winnipeg Jets. And the Jets, of course, have shown their inability to perform on the road. So even if they win this game, they're still in a lot of trouble. They got to find a way to beat Dallas on the road, but take it one shift at a time. So still scoreless in this game. And you can feel the intensity. It feels like, an elimination game. It feels like a big-time game. The basketball game, we're rolling right now into the third quarter, 72-69. As I stated, this game is really good tonight. Like, the NBA playoffs have been pretty exciting, but this series is really good, and this game is really good. Like I said, it's been a 2-3 point game pretty much all game, and they're going up and down the court. There's blocks, there's shots, they're running and gunning. Great basketball game going on. Carolina Hurricanes won, and the Canes like to be boring. And they even said that, we don't mind if people think we're boring because, we're winning hockey games. And they kind of are boring, but that was a good game today. I would have to say, and we'll bring Cam Stewart in on this before we bring George Kurtz in. The PGA Championship today, Cam, to me, man, it felt like a John Deere, bro. Like, there was no intensity. There's no fans there.
Good call, Gabe.
It was just boring.
Let's
and you know what?
I have an idea.
It was just boring.
I have an idea. Masters, U.S. Open Championship in Britain, fourth major rotation. The PGA Championship doesn't cut mustard. It's a regular damn tournament. It doesn't feel like a major. They don't act, hey, it's on TV from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 at night. But Gabe, I watch golf all the time. You're right. It's not even like all the other majors are playoff games. This is a preseason game. All the stars did crap today, by the way, too. So that's good for me.
I got to say, too, that like I'm not a golf TV nerd that I really care about the networks that much, but it's clearly everybody knows, the CBS does golf the best, right? So, you got Jim Nantz and company. CBS does it best. People have always criticized NBC. People don't really like the ESPN coverage of golf all that much. And like I said, I know they had Jim Nantz, so it was sort of all mixed in today, but it was just a long, boring broadcast. There was it just, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's no fans there hardly. There's just no buzz. And like I said, I tried to watch it a couple of times. I was like, all right, I'll check back in later. And there was no excitement at all. Now, you do basically have a bunch of no names or players that nobody cares about at the top of the leaderboard right now. Things could shake up as it goes on. But from an entertainment standpoint, it was, like I said, I thought it was just a boring start, anticlimactic start compared to like the Masters, which even if you weren't a big golf fan, you were drawn into it. You could just feel like it was a compelling storyline and event going on. Today, it was just like I said, they spent 5 minutes like showing some effing turtle in a sand bunker and like a bunch of dudes
that was the best.
Breaking the sand.
Terps. I heard the joke the first 9 times. Hey, they're like, how about them terps? And I'm like, yeah, it's a turtle. Thanks.
It was just slow and like the whole broadcast. And
it was bad.
And there was no intensity to it at all. So, as I'm ranking the sporting events today that I watched, the PGA Championship is at the bottom, including the World Hockey Championships, which, strangely enough, Canada winning 5-1 today was actually an entertaining game somehow. You wouldn't figure a 5-1 game would be entertaining, but it was closer than the 5-1 score would indicate, sort of. Yes and no. Canada outshot them like 50-11 or something, but the Austrian goalie was amazing. So we got a close game going on here in basketball. We got a close game going on here in hockey. Let's bring in Captain Chalk, George Kurtz. George, Dallas Stars or Winnipeg Jets for you tonight?
Yeah, I stayed with what I told you on Monday. Didn't work out well in the first game. Took the Caps. I thought maybe they could win at home here and extend it to 6. Lost there. Did have the under, though, and I went back to that, which I said I wouldn't do, so I guess I lied there. And I sort of think I thought the same thing with the Jets, that maybe they can win at home here and extend it to Game 6. I don't think we'll go any further than that, by the way. If they do win today, I think Dallas just ended in Game 6 anyway. But small plays, nothing dramatic here. But I guess I took the home teams here. But I guess I want to see more hockey.
The Dallas Stars are on the power play right now, which is something that the Winnipeg Jets have done far too often in this series. Take penalties at the wrong end of the ice and just meaningless sort of dude, you didn't need to do that, right? If you're going to take a penalty in a playoff game, especially an elimination game, it better be a damn good reason, right? Listen,
you trip them or something, yeah.
Well, there's a lot, as I said, there's got to be a damn good reason for it. as to like why you ended up taking a penalty. The careless, just sort of, the revenge penalties, the retribution penalty, the stupid, just sort of careless, frustrated penalties. The Jets have been doing it too often, and this is the second one of the period. Even if they kill them off, that's 4 minutes, Winnipeg, that you've not been on offense, right? They just spend too much time trying to kill penalties. And on the other side of this, their power play sucks right now, so they can't tempt fate with this. But they've survived. The crowd got a little bit of a pop here, and we're still scoreless in this game. I was on the Capitals as well, Kurtz. They were in the game, man. It was right there. Logan Thompson was so good in the playoffs until he wasn't. The last 2 games, he was pretty shaky, and tonight, both goals that he allowed were both goals that needed to be saved, and the winning goal at that time of the game, that's like 1 in 100 type of stuff from that
Great
angle.
Call, Morency.
Like, I don't know how Thompson allowed that in, but he was shaky, right? Like, he was shaky. He got beat on a short side earlier in the game.
You shoot the puck from anywhere.
So Logan Thompson, as good as he was, you see, goalies can be hot, but once they're not, suddenly they get rattled a little bit, and fatigue kicks in too. The guy's been playing every game, and it just sort of starts to catch up. But Carolina were the better team, but damn, that was a bad goal to give up that cost the series.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
no, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect.
That. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
2
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The Thursday night throwdown. Winnipeg Jets came close to scoring the first goal of the game, but the puck just went over the crossbar. So we still have a scoreless game tonight. And it's very critical. Winnipeg have been playing from behind too much. In the 3 losses in the series, they've only been leading for 5 minutes. Like, they're constantly playing from behind the Winnipeg Jets. If they could just get ahead, it's like a pitcher. Their lives will be a lot easier. And also, we see, man, the championship caliber teams, the teams that win these series, we saw tonight with the Carolina Hurricanes. they score late in periods, right? And that's the big deal. Like a tie game, suddenly everything is fine, and there's such a massive difference between 0-0 and being down 1-0. So the next 3 minutes here are critical, at least for the Jets, if they don't give up a goal. But it'd be big for them to score that goal. They are pressing a little bit right now, and the Jets are out shooting the Dallas Stars 9-4. As far as the NBA game is concerned, the third quarter is rolling along very quickly, actually. 80-78 right now for the Denver Nuggets. So we've got a good one going on. Nuggets up by 2. They're laying 125 on the money line. The total is 229.5. Looking at tomorrow's solitary NHL game, the Toronto Maple Leafs look to bounce back after one of the more sombering and disappointing performances in their postseason history. And that's actually saying something, because their postseason history has been all bad. But just rack another one up. Rack another one up now. Like that was basically like an all-time low last night. And the problem is when you disappoint teams, and I see this with the Buffalo Bills and other teams, when you've lost for so long and you haven't won, past failures do count for the guys that are on the team, right? So it just sort of it manifests itself, and it gets bigger and bigger. And I said last night during the game, I said people are gonna turn on this team so hard right now. You're gonna think the series is already over, and you see it right now. I don't know if you saw, Kurtz. People were throwing their jerseys on the ice last night during the game, but now there's all kinds of videos that people are burning Mitch Marner jerseys and stuff. Series isn't over yet. They could still be the heroes here somehow, but I don't even think their own parents believe in them. Like, I don't think their dogs and pets believe in them. Like, honestly, like, I think, like, when Marner leaves his house and he's like, see you later, Spike, and he pets his dog is thinking, man, this is not going to end well, right? Like,
he's not taking Spike to Pittsburgh. He's leaving him in Toronto.
I don't think, it's hard to say that anybody with the Leafs would have confidence. I tried to buy into that, you know what, they're not rattled by, losing 2 in a row. They're fine going back home. You saw they're not fine. Kurtz, do you trust the Leafs to find some balls tomorrow on the road against the Panthers? Or is this the end of the line and another disappointing end for the Leafs?
I picked Florida to win in 6 before the series started. Picked Florida to win Game 5. I'm picking Florida to win Game 6. It's not all to do with the Leafs, by the way. I think Florida is the better team anyway. All right. I think they're built for this. They're just built for 7-game series to play in the playoffs here. They wear you down how they play, hit. I think everything you said about the Leafs is also true, though. I think they feel the pressure and they don't come through here. I do think we're going to find out that Austin Matthews has a torn ligament or some nerve damage in that wrist. All right, so there's something
people won't care.
You're right, they won't. And it's I get it. It's just an excuse that he shouldn't play. Well, his 80% is still better than whoever the 13th forward is on your roster. So, but I sort of forgive him for that. I do wonder how this affects Mitch Marner in the free agency. Are they finally going to blow this up and change it up because it's just not working? John Tavares could be gone. He's been your best player, which is amazing there. So a lot of noise for the Leafs. But to answer your question, I mean, I'm not laying 240. It'll be a parlay with a baseball game for me tomorrow here. I'm thinking about, I got plus 112 to lay a goal and a half. The empty net should be there. If they're up by a goal, they're going to pull that goal. It should be an empty net for a long time tomorrow. But yes, that's my long-winded way of saying I like Florida.
Well, Cam, if you want some value with the Leafs, they're up to 33-1 to win the Stanley Cup right now.
Already clicked it, Gabe, and I got another one for you tonight, guys. And I guess that's the homer in me. But listen, if Toronto wins the next game, the series price right now on FanDuel Ontario's plus 530. The Leafs win Game 6, you got a plus 530 in her pocket, Mark Lawrence style. And then if you even want to hedge and pull a Kurtz like what he does with the Yankees and stuff, you could take Florida in the other game and you're still making tons of money. I'm invested in it. I'm doing it. Probably going to lose. Don't care. Price is too good.
As crazy as it sounds, I think the Leafs have a better chance of winning in Florida than winning at home in Game 7. I can see them winning somehow. Oh, my God, they won, and then they'll embarrass everybody again at home in Game 7.
your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas?
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
no, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect.
That. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, so we played a period in Winnipeg. Scoreless game. In-game totals fallen to 3.5 right now. Winnipeg Jets are minus 130 on the money line, and the Dallas Stars are plus 100. As far as the NBA game is concerned, SGA on the free throw line like he often is right now. And Denver have taken a 10-point lead in this game. Late in the third quarter right now. Although I see the scoring has slowed down just a little bit, but Denver are rolling. It's 90-82 actually right now. SGA just hit the free throws. So it's 90-82. We're going to be going into the fourth quarter. Should be a fun fourth quarter of basketball coming up. So we were talking about the Leafs game tomorrow against the Florida Panthers. And, yeah, this is a perfect storm of the Leafs just falling apart right now. And the media turned on them last night. People are throwing jerseys on the ice. As I stated, like if you're the Leafs, it really is us against the world right now, except they're just their best players don't show up. It's just point blank. And if there's any consolation to this, and I don't know if it's good because the Leafs are actually a pretty good team, but this will be it, right? You know, Mitch Marner was asked last night, so is this your last home game? I mean, like the series isn't over yet. It's like the end of season interviews going on. He's a free agent. You tried to trade him. Like, he has no reason to be loyal to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And honestly, Leaf fans, like, they're blaming him, but he is a stud. But it was a bad look last night because he just sort of quit. Austin Matthews hasn't quit because he never started. He's like me at a high school I went to once. I never checked in for like 3 months.
Checked in.
No, that's true. I showed up the first day and I never went back.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Morency. See ya.
I figured if they didn't know me, they wouldn't know I was gone.
Exactly.
So,
Good call.
No, I used to have a lot of hustles, Cam. I was like, if they never saw me, I'm not really there, but I'm on the list, right? So I got on like that. I showed up for the first day and I got like my list of classes and I never went to the classes. And I got away with it for like 3 months too. But so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like Kramer. Well, we gotta let you go. He's like, I don't really even work here. That's what makes this so difficult.
Exactly.
Because I don't even work here. We gotta let you go, Kramer. So,
smart move by you though, because they only get one chance to profile you on day one, and if they can't get a good profile, they're toast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I showed up. Actually, what I did, I showed up for each class once. So I sort of said, "Hey, how you doing?" to the teacher, and then I never showed up again after. And like I said, I was in a big school, so there were a lot of faces. I figured I could get away with it, but man, I just don't see it. Like, and now Joseph Wall is a little rattled right now. I mean, I tell you, Cam, maybe they can pull this off tomorrow. Like I said, I'd like to believe that they can, but after seeing what I saw last night, I really just don't see it. And like I said, it looks like it's the end of the line right now. And I don't think Mitch Marner is going to be back, and you're going to lose him for nothing unless you figure out some sort of offseason trade. Like, this thing is going to get like wild fast in Toronto, and Leaf fans are going to hate Marner even more because Marner blocked the Rantanen deal. The Leafs were trying to get Rantanen, and they dangled Mitch Marner, and Carolina was down with it. Carolina was like, yeah, sure, we'd love to get Mitch Marner. And Marner was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. So now you piss Marner off, who you know is thin-skinned, and you know his father is, like, angry. Yeah. They know that, hey, the Leafs were willing to throw you under the bus, Mitch, so you don't owe these guys anything anymore. You throw in the Kyle Dubas connection in Pittsburgh. Dubas loves Marner. Pittsburgh has to spend some effing money at some point and bring somebody in. I'll throw it to you, Kurtz. Do you believe that Mitch Marner will be a Pittsburgh Penguin next year?
I doubt that. I don't see how they're going to be able to swing it even with the cap going up, unless they do try to move Malkin and/or Letang. We know Crosby's not going anywhere. I always like to see who the new coach is in Pittsburgh before we know what's going on. But I don't dismiss this outright because they're not going to retool, right? I mean, you have Crosby. You have to go for it. He's only got a couple of good years left before he is done. So they're going to have to keep going for it. And the East is weak, especially that division, not the strongest division. So I don't dismiss this, but he's going to get, no matter what we're saying about him, he's going to get, 13-7? You know, that's about what I think he's going to get 13 years times 7.
He wanted 14 after this playoff performance.
He might still get it. He's a free agent. He might still get it. People are going to want him.
Oh, you know, no, he's going to have a lot of teams like running on him. Like, that's what I'm saying. He's going to be gone. So, like, for Leaf fans that hate him, all right, he's going to be gone. And I don't know if you're going to get anything back for him, like point blank, unless you figure out some deal.
All you can do is trade his rights. That's the only thing you can do.
I propose this. I proposed it, and it makes sense in a way. Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks for Mitch Marner. Pettersson makes $11 million a year. The Canucks would like to get out of the contract. He is a very good player. He's good friends with Nylander. You got another Swedish guy in here. It's at least you would get an all-star caliber player in return, right? Because you got to figure this out. Like, you got to flip a deal somehow with a team and get someone and have Marner agree to it. But this is really going to blow up, Cam, on the Leafs because they're not going to get anything. I don't think they're going to get anything with Marner because NHL teams don't really do these sign-in trades like that, like NBA teams do, right? It's too hard to pull off. They don't want to help each other. NBA, they just do anything. They're like, oh, we want to save money. We want to do this. NHL, they don't want to help each other. They don't really like. And another thing is Marner. Why will Marner want to go along with anything? He'll be like, whatever, dude. I'm waiting until July 1st. F off. You guys tried to trade me. You know what I mean?
The best they can do is trade his rights. This way, the acquiring team can sign him for the 8th year. Right, that's the only that gets you a 3rd-round pick. They're not at least done as far as getting value for Marner, unless they sign him. And I don't discount the Leafs signing him. By the way, he wants to be. He does like playing there.
George, we can't afford everyone.
I don't think anymore.
Matthew Nyes has to be signed. He's the future of the team. Somebody's got to go.
Tavares is gone.
Marner. Tavares will take a pay cut to stay. Trust me.
So you want to keep Tavares?
You're damn right I do. After the way
I think Tavares will be back too. I think Tavares would take a pay cut. Like he'll take one for the team.
And
you keep Tavares, Nyes, and Marner. That can't happen.
That's my point. One of them's got to go, and Gabe's right.
But that also means you can't trade Pettersson, by the way.
I keep Nylander.
Well, you got a problem. No, they got a problem with this. And honestly, Austin Matthews is their problem. You could argue.
You could,
except it's hard to trade. He's such a superstar that it's hard to trade a superstar, right? Like that. So, I mean, the guy scores so many goals, but in the playoffs, he disappears all the time, right? It's a tough spot to be in when you have a really good team and you just don't get it done in the playoffs all the time. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in this mix here right now. You know, the Buffalo Bills to a certain extent, although the Bills,
with the Bills are a good playoff team.
Well, that's the thing, George. I was going to say, because people compare the Bills to the Leafs.
My team.
the Bills and the Leafs. The Bills actually win playoff games and score 5 touchdowns in a quarter. And oh my God, we lost by 1. The Leafs have won like 1 playoff series.
The Bills never had. They laid 1 egg in a playoff game recently, and it was the game versus the Bengals where they punched him in the face. Other than that, the Bills have been competitive in all the games. The Leafs laid down. The Bills are way better. Like, that's the thing. Like, the Leafs are way more disappointing.
But I'll tell you, Mitch Marner will not be on the Toronto Maple Leafs next year.
Oh,
This will be it.
I wish we could have a bet right now that he goes to Pittsburgh, Gabe. You give us like plus money, I'm in. He's going there.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, it makes sense. He likes Kyle Dubas, but Mitch Marner's going to have like 10, 12, 15 teams offering him a deal. Like, he's literally going to have like a ton of teams that are going to want him. I mean, the kid's a super talented player, especially, you know what? Like, Marner's the type of kid too. He's going to be better off away from Toronto.
Damn right.
Like, the media is on him too much. He's from there. It's too much. It's too claustrophobic. Like, you put Mitch Marner on the Vegas Golden Knights and nobody knows who he is in Vegas and stuff. And like, nobody cares or talks to him. The other thing is too, he's not the guy. He can be a guy, but he's not the guy. So you add him to a really good team.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not so. There were 2
perfectly rated
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage 97-86. Denver Nuggets, 7.5 left in the game. Total is dropping, though, right now. It's down to 219.5. The hockey game, the second period hasn't started yet. In-game total, 3.5 right now. Jets are minus 130. Cam, any in-game opinion here on the Dallas Stars and Winnipeg Jets?
Probably the under. I think the elimination game, the first one, and we talked about being scared with unders, but without the empty netter, it would have really gone under, but it still was 4. These teams look like they're grinding. Both goalies look hot tonight. I don't think we can get there, Gabe. I think this game actually might go to overtime, as we talked about last night. I got this like kind of Vegas Oiler vibe, like a 1-1 or a 0-0 going into overtime.
Kurtz, what do you think about the in-game number here right now? 3.5 and the Jets minus 130.
Wow, you got to bet. I don't have 3. I have 4.5, by the way, minus 146. here on FanDuel. So I'm not laying that. I agree with everything Cam said, by the way. I think the under is the play here, but I'm not laying 146.
What
I'm
do you
already
have,
on the
4.5?
4.5 minus 146.
You got to. That's a huge goal, man. George, like, think about it. 4.5, even with an empty netter, it's a lot of goals, man.
I like the under. I'm just not laying the minus 146. I'm not going to do it. I'm also on the pregame over, so it's that too.
Yeah, you know what? I can get 4.5, but it's minus 160 for me, Kurtz. Yeah. So a little off, but so that's what I can get. Minus 160 under 4.5. The only thing that would beat us here is 2-2. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to overtime either, but once there's a goal, it could open up as well, right? I don't really feel it. I'm not like, yeah, for sure type of deal. I am on the Jets here, and I need the Jets to close out my my series parlays. The plus 2.5. They got to at least give me 2 freaking games in this series. All right, we'll get into some NFL, but I wanted to ask you, Kurtz, what do you think about Pete Rose? A lot of talk about Pete Rose over the last couple of days. And I said this to begin with. I was like, listen, just because you reinstate him, people still have to vote for him. You can't just like, you know what I mean? There's still a process to this. And I don't think people are going to vote for him. I don't think he's going to get in, even now, personally. And we see it's kind of split, but I saw Jim Palmer say that he loves Pete Rose, but no. We saw A.J. Przinsky, who doesn't have the same credibility as a Hall of Famer like Jim Palmer, but A.J. Przinsky was like, absolutely not. Gary Cohen of the Mets took a shot at it the other day about Pete Rose, etc. There are some former players that played with him that have his back. Do you think he should be into the Hall of Fame, and do you think he will get in?
I'm going to answer your second question first. No, I don't think he'll get in. You already said the reasons why. It'll go through a committee. There'll be 16 members on the committee. And
they need 12 of the 16.
Right. They need 12 of 3/4. And it wouldn't be surprised if they sort of rigged that committee to make sure he doesn't get in. Maybe things will change in a couple of years, but I don't think he'll get in either way. Should he be in is a much more complicated question. All right. Now, all three of us are old enough. We saw Pete Rose play. No one played harder than Pete Rose. All right. He's the hit king. You cannot tell the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose. You cannot do it. All right. The Hall of Fame is a museum that tells the history. So I am sort of pro that. But then when you read what makes a Hall of Famer, there's a character and integrity clause. And Pete had none of it. He had no character. I mean, this man was not a good man. All right. Forget the gambling. He got tax evasion, got convicted of that. The stat rape thing, he denied. Oh, yeah, well, she was 16. She was 16. You were 32 when you had a family. This doesn't make me feel any better about it. And you said she was 16. She said she was 15 or 14. I'm going to believe her anyway.
Yeah, she was 14, and his excuse was, well, I thought she was 16, which isn't a great answer.
No, horrible answer. I thought she was 20. I thought she was 16.
The point
16 was the age of consent, Cam. Yeah. That was the difference.
In Ohio. 16 is the age of consent in Ohio. So that's why
bottom line, Noah, is go a couple years older. Just makes you look less of a scumbag. Just saying.
See, the thing is,
he was married with children. It doesn't matter what you do here. You're a scumbag. All right, I was going to use that word, but yeah, that's what he is.
The thing is, so people will say, well, you can't get into a player's character. As you stated, even though it's specifically written into the damn thing, George, right, about character. So it's specifically written in. But people go, well, you can't get into people's personal lives. And often when it comes up is Ty Cobb, right?
He was a scumbag.
Raging racist. Ty Cobb, bad person, raging racist. Thing is, we didn't know that. Like, you know what I mean? People don't, and now in today's day and age, we know everything about everybody now. So it's a little bit different. And as you stated with Pete Rose, and I've always said this, and I've flipped on this because I used to be very adamant. I was like, how the hell do you have a baseball Hall of Fame without the guy, with the most hits and, the guy that won the most games and et cetera and all this. But honestly, when you dig down a little bit deeper, for people to vote for him, all right, so you're going to advocate, you're going to say, well, character doesn't matter. I don't care that he was sleeping with a 14-year-old girl. And Pete Rose is never contrite about anything either, right? Pete Rose was asked about this before he passed, about he was asked from a female interviewer, what about the relationship? And you know what his answer was? It was 55 years ago, babe. Let it go.
Babe.
Now,
Babe.
and I called her babe, and he said, let it go. So you could easily respond, well, so was your playing days, bro. We're going to let that go, too, because that was 55 years ago, too. Right? Like,
Remember,
you know what I mean? It goes both ways there.
Mike Schmidt, who he's on Pete Rose's side, but he'll tell you
he's
that
pro Pete Rose side, yeah.
Yes.
He's pro Pete Rose. But in that secret meeting he had where Rose met with was it Selig or Mayer, whoever it was, and Rose was told what he should do. Schmidt says he wasn't contrite at all, and then he immediately didn't do any of it. I mean, I remember
the guy sold picks after. I'm all for betting, but
he was doing autograph signing down the block. He was mocking everybody. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad if he doesn't get in, but I keep going back to you can't tell the history of the game without Rose, without Clemens, without Bonds.
Yeah, okay, but that's the whole thing. Then you got to open this the F up then right there. I don't want to hear about Barry Bonds or McGuire or any of these people now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. What's worse?
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
no, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect.
That. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even play good.
Quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the Pistol Players, the Hustlers, the people who bust them, everybody else in between. You know what's funny, too? People are so passionate about Pete Rose. Well, we know, like, that he was basically not you know what I mean? We know, like, some of these horrific things that he did. No one is as passionate about Shoeless Joe Jackson, and it's even questionable. Shoeless Joe Jackson got accused of throwing the World Series. What did he hit, like 319 or something? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, what more can you... Yeah, he was there.
He knew about it. He didn't say anything. I think that's why he got thrown in with this.
Yeah, like he sort of did get screwed, though, right? Like he wasn't like this evil dude, but in those days, whatever, dude. This is Chicago. What are you going to do? You're going to get shot up, man. You know what I mean?
You're going to get shot
it's like, it's like yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the guys on my team are doing. I'm trying, you know what I mean? But like, anyways, it's a topic of conversation, but it'll be a while before he gets in, guys. No one's going to want to put their name on this. Like, no one's going to run up. And another thing is, too, it's going to bother other real Hall of Famers, too. They're going to think that it taints the Hall of Fame. And Greg Frank's our producer here. He's a big Hall of Fame buff. A lot of these guys, they really feel strongly about this stuff, right? Like, that he broke the rule. Like, point blank, you can't bet on baseball. Like, they stick to this. Like, it does taint the Hall a bit. But my idea is the same thing. Same with Barry Bonds. I mean, like, I'd put Barry Bonds in, I'd put on the plaque. He had 580 home runs. Then he took steroids, and he hit another 300. Like, you know what I mean? But he would have been a Hall of Famer anyways. A-Rod is one, like, come on. A-Rod's one of the best players ever. Like, that's comical that A-Rod is somehow punished as some big cheater. A-Rod's the type of guy that took steroids just to fit in with everybody, and he got caught. He didn't even need to do it.
I mean, Bonds, Clemens, A-Rod, Manny Ramirez.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody.
You can't tell the story of baseball without these guys. You just can't. And by the way,
everything.
Are we being foolish? Are we being a little foolish, by the way, if we don't believe that steroid guys are already in? Excuse me.
And everything, and also, and I brought this up in the past. Look at the hypocrisy, too. So, like, Tony La Russa's in the Hall of Fame, right? So, Tony La Russa's in the Hall of Fame. Okay, why is Tony La Russa in the Hall of Fame? Because he won a lot, right? And he won. Who did he win with? Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco? All your players were roided up. They paid a price as if you didn't know. You were probably helping inject them, right? So, like, as if, I had no idea, right? So I had no idea. But I go to the Hall of Fame for the success of the team. It's like Barry Bonds in San Francisco. He built that freaking stadium for them. And then after, we can't let him in the stadium. It's like, because you had no idea. I know, like Bud Selig too. They're all. It's that's the problem with the modern Hall of Fames, that they bastardize everything, and like, who really cares anymore? All right, Kurtz, we're gonna get the winner. The Winnipeg Jets have scored.
I think it was shorthanded off a Dallas skate. It was a crazy goal.
It was an accident, but they'll take it.
Hey, you know what? That's why you shoot the damn puck at the net. Furthermore, these guys are never getting in the Hall of Fame game. You think the world was tough then? Look at the people now. They complain about everything. Oh, my God, I can't do this. Like, you need to do it now. It's going to get worse 20 years down the line. These guys have no chance in hell of getting into the Hall of Fame the way the world's going. It's not even like, no, it's not happening.
Well, it'll be up to the veteran committee for all these players. I think the Bonds and the Clemenses of the world the veteran committee will be more sympathetic to it, because they'll know everybody was roided up. Like that whole steroid stuff is like the most overblown, like really, really overblown. Number one, nobody cares about steroids in any other sport for whatever reason. Right? If I told you, the guy at the LA Kings took TGH, you wouldn't give a crap. No one cares, right? It'd be like, oh, really? Right? But baseball, whatever, everyone flips out somehow. But anyways, I remember I was covering the Expos at the time, and I asked a pitcher. He gave up a home run to Barry Bonds. And I said, does it bother you? Does it bother you? He's hitting all these home runs, and he's all juiced up. And he laughed at me. He goes, hey, Morency, pitchers are allowed to take steroids too, huh? And he started laughing. He was a pitcher. And he goes, he's not the only one, bro. And then he went on to tell me, he goes, man, we love Barry Bonds. He goes, we made so much more money. The ratings are better. He goes, good for the game. Good for the game. They loved it. Like, it wasn't like players were like, oh, he's a cheater. Yeah, look, you brought it up, Mike Piazza with the cough. Eric Gagne, Kurtz, how did he get good suddenly?
Yeah. And his arm fell off.
Ivan Rodriguez, who told me, oh, no, I stopped eating fast food. That's why I lost 75 pounds in the offseason. Okay.
I just saw there's a documentary on that guy, the Liver King, that told people he got all those ripped muscles by eating raw liver only and stuff. Turned out he was just taking steroids. There's a big Netflix documentary on it.
your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side
Yes.
with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers'
the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a seventh-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
I
It is
just told
incorrect.
you he's going to be number one overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have
down on a
decent
tape
season. No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a seventh-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the
Stop
history of the
it.
sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young and
State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, let's roll. It's level 2. This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency. We're throwing it down on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. The Denver Nuggets look like they're going to advance here and survive to play another game. They're up 109-99 right now with about 2 minutes left, and this total is really just lingering around the number. It's 219.5. Winnipeg Jets have taken a 1-0 lead. All right, so as you guys know, I've talked a lot about the Vancouver Whitecaps this year. One of the best stories in sports. And the soccer world has started to take notice, and especially you see a lot of Vancouver stories and people in the soccer world talking about the Whitecaps, especially because they're playing Cruz Azul on June 1st. They're playing Austin this Saturday. And somebody that I follow on Twitter to follow the Whitecaps, hard journalist, steps up and joins us, writes for the Daily Hive Vancouver, Equalizer Soccer. Hart, thanks for stepping up and joining us tonight. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be on to talk Whitecaps and their fantastic season that they're having thus far.
Yeah, we got to show some love to them. So listen, we could be here for hours praising different players on the team, and it's almost like everybody on the team is sort of peaking at once right now. But everything starts at the top, so you got to credit the scouts, the organization, on a limited budget for putting the team together that they have. But really, let's talk about Sorensen and what he's brought to the table. What's the big difference? Like, the past coach played well to the media. He was a great interview. The fans loved him. He got suspended. He yelled at the refs. But it seemed like the tactical side of things were lacking. What's the big difference that Sorensen brings to this team that you've seen being around them?
Yeah, Coach Vanny gave us a lot to talk about. He was great with the quotes, but I think the team needed a fresh outlook, a fresh set of eyes, a kind of a wrinkle and a few changes to the tactics. They're a lot more possession-oriented when they have the ball. They're attacking a lot more in transition. They're not so much sitting back as they want to be the team on the counter punch offensively. And we've seen that where they get chance after chance. They're creating a lot more offensively, set pieces and corner kicks. They're excelling in that regard. So a lot more up-tempo offense, and I think that's a big change because they're really taking it to teams, and we've seen throughout this season how many goals they've piled up thus far.
Yeah, number one team in MLS average corner kicks per game. So this feels like an eternity. And you I know you go to the practices and you're around, you're following the team. I'm tired just going to the games as a fan and watching them. They play so much, like 4 matches in a 10-day run. It feels like an eternity that they actually have a week off. I'm sure the players are relishing it this week. before they go to Texas to play Austin again. And remember, we saw what happened last time. They lit Austin up when they played them. So, Austin going to be ready this time around. But this team, like, I imagine that the players are very happy that they get a rest right now.
Not quite. That's something that it varies depending on who you ask. Talking to Ranko Veselinovic on Wednesday, he likes the games. He just wants to play and have the recovery. But then you talk to Ali Ahmed, and he kind of likes a little bit of a break, a little bit of an extra rest, as they have one game this week. They had one game last week, LAFC. So they've had a lot of double weeks where they've had multiple games. So getting that little break where they have Austin FC coming up, and then, it's a run of 5 games in 16 days. So they will be playing a lot of games coming up. So I think it's important to take the rest when they have it. They have a few players with some nagging injuries, a few knocks, so hopefully they can get rest and recovered and fully up to speed as they get on this next 3-game journey all on the road.
If you can, just hit refresh, and we'll reset. Reset her microphone. I got to tell you, in a million years, I would never imagine to see the Vancouver Whitecaps the second choice to win the MLS championship right now, guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, like they were predicted to be 12th in the West type of deal. They have a very limited payroll. And here they are. Inter Miami are still favored to win the MLS Cup right now. We see this team is starting to struggle. They're not a young team right now. Are you buying in at the Vancouver Whitecaps? And I imagine the players have bought in that they can literally be MLS champions this year.
I mean, of course, you have to buy in. Look at the record, 8-1-3. They went and beat Miami twice. They've tied LAFC, their nemesis. They've played teams that are tough teams in this league, and they've done quite well. So I don't know why you wouldn't buy in. They have Brian White with 8 goals this year. The defense has been spectacular. They have all the components you would want to see in an MLS Cup contender. I know play in South Florida, but I would say certainly they are one of the top teams that people should be paying attention to.
Why is Brian White so underappreciated? Like, I know with American fans, people are starting to catch on now that, he should get more of a run with the national team because some of the bigger names just don't seem to have the passion or care as much. But even in MLS circles, I mean, the Whitecaps got him for basically nothing, right, Harrod? He's just so freaking consistent. It's like as consistent as the national anthem almost. You go to a Whitecap game and you're going to hear Brian White's name after he scores a goal.
Well, one of the factors I think in the attention and how much praise and credit he gets is he plays on the left coast. Like, he plays here in Vancouver, and we know how late some of those games start. So a lot of people they're not familiar with Whitecaps games, coming into this year. So that's one factor. Another is he's now with the U.S. men's national team, but a late bloomer. He wasn't called up until a little while ago, I think last year. So he's certainly making a name for himself. He's climbing the ranks of all-time goals for the Whitecaps. So he gets a lot of love and a lot of credit here in Vancouver. And I think now the league's starting to take notice and recognize, as we saw, he was named April Player of the Month, those 4 goals against Austin. So he's definitely a player that people know about now.
It's a strange situation, guys, with the Whitecaps, too. They're actually for sale, and it's not like they're one of these hottest properties in sports, right? They're trying to find somebody to, to buy the team and keep the team in Vancouver. Now, obviously, there's been the talk of a new stadium being built, an outdoor soccer facility, which would make all the difference in the world. Where's this at right now? Because that's sort of on the back burner. Everybody's excited for the Champions Cup coming up on June 1st, obviously. Where's this, the team of the sale, the sale of the team at? Hell, I know that they're watching the Dallas Stars right now, that the Stars owner, his name has come up as being part of something potentially, as he's from BC. Where are we at right now with the sale of the team?
Yeah, you mentioned Tom Ghilardi there with the Dallas Stars. I know he was asked about it maybe a month ago, and he has so many assets right now, a lot of businesses, so he's not interested. He has said, in terms of who's going to buy the team, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. they desperately need a soccer-specific stadium in this market, because you look at a lot of MLS teams, they have their own stadiums. They have soccer-specific teams, stadiums. There's only a few teams. Maybe you look at Soldier Field where Chicago plays, where the New England Revolution play. Those are NFL stadiums, and BC Place is not a soccer-specific stadium. So they need their own stadium. They talked about the racetrack down in the PNE, so it's very early stages. They're just talking about talking, so nothing's concrete at the minute.
Well, I got to start playing the Powerball, and if I can come up with $450 million, I'll step up and I'll solve the problem. Hard Journalist on Twitter. Awesome stuff, Hard. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. I'm looking forward to that Cup Championship game, June 1st in Mexico City. Man, we lit up the MLS last night. We ended up going 5-1 when it was all said and done. CF Montreal, they're not as bad as their record is, guys, and we hit that draw last night with them. But just quickly looking at the number for Vancouver, so they've actually had a week off. She said some players didn't want to. I guess not, Cameron. When you're hot, you want to keep playing. I sort of get that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but 4 games in 10 days is too much. And now they have another run of 5 games in 16 days coming up.
These guys work
MLS
their
guys
asses off.
They don't get paid enough, like, for as much as they play.
With you. I look at these European guys. It's like
their union needs to step up, like the MLS union. I'd be like, listen, like, no, we're not playing 4 games in 10 days and flying to Mexico City and back.
It's crazy.
They make not bad money, though, actually. Like, there's a dude on the Whitecaps right now. He's about to sign a new deal because he's playing so well. He's going to get $1.7 million a year. And he's not their star player. He's like their fourth best player type of deal. Like, and he's going to be like their third, fourth highest paid. Like, so the Whitecaps are paying people. Like, they got, you know what I mean? The MLS, it's paying real money right now. So, but you definitely earning it, man. I tell you what. And you're not flying around on like the same cushy jets that Arsenal and
Emirates.
Manchester City are flying in.
Exactly,
Yeah, like stuff.
Bars inside. They got waitresses.
All you need to know about the Whitecaps is they're playing in Mexico City, and the Whitecaps owner is cool. And he's flying in all the employees again to the championship game. And the players' families. It's 500 people. He's flying in for free to the game because it's the biggest game in their franchise history. And they're the Vancouver Whitecaps. You figure, all right, they must have a deal with an airline or something. He posted on Twitter. He goes, I need 500 tickets to Mexico City at WestJet, at Air Canada. Whoever gets back to me first gets the business. That's what he said. Whoever responds first with a deal gets the business. I was like, wow, quite an operation you guys are running here to Whitecaps.
That is awesome. It makes me
You're
like
just on Twitter. Yeah, he goes, I'm buying 500 tickets to Mexico City. Who wants the business? And
what airline wants my business?
I was like, I like this owner. He's like, who can give me a deal? He was like, who can give me a deal between the two of you? Who wants the business?
We do the same thing. No, that guy, he's a grinder. I like guys like that. He's going for it. But I'll say this,
after a couple of drinks the other night, Cam, I saw he follows me on Twitter, the Whitecaps owner. I want to send him a DM when I was drunk. Can I come? You got 500 people coming. You got room on the plane for me?
I am going to say this, like Darsh and you at the BC Lions, you've probably gone as a non-season ticket holder to more games than any citizen there. They should be hooking you up with fan gear, super packs. Just my opinion.
They retweet me a lot now. They're following me on Twitter, and they appreciate the support.
Good.
Speaking of the BC Lions, their season starts in a couple of weeks, and they announced Snoop Dogg will be performing before the game.
Gotta love Snoop Dogg. Opening up an envelope, CFL game. I'll do anything. That guy's the best.
Last year they had 50 Cent. The year before they had LL Cool J. It's like a tradition. The BC Lions get big rappers to open up the season all the time.
Yes.
And it causes chaos, though. It's going to be sold out. Like, I saw that they sold 40,000 tickets after the Snoop Dogg announcement. Like, Snoop Dogg's that big that people, like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of cheaper. So you get a free Snoop Dogg show. And it's a show. He doesn't play like two songs. He's playing like a real concert. And then they played a football game after. I was there last year for the 50 Cent stuff, but through a 50 Cent concert and then the football game came, I'll admit, like, I was pretty lit up by the half. Like, by halftime, like, I was already in there for like 4 hours. I was like, it's a long day. I was like, man, I remember looking up. I was like, man, this has been a long day here in this stadium, but a lot of fun. Great that the CFL season is going to be back, and NFL season's around the corner as well. Speaking of which, we were going to get Mick Aussie in here. And Mick is a Denver Bronco fan, but we'll get some AFL picks from Mick. The city of Edmonton just keeps fighting after all these games. You figure they'd be happy, but they're just, it's like every night these kids are just brawling outside in the town squares in Edmonton like a bunch of morons, but I guess that's part of being a kid. The Winnipeg Jets are up 1-0 right now, 2.5 minutes left. And the Denver Nuggets, you know what? We got some drama here, guys, in the NBA playoffs. The Denver Nuggets, we get there with the total as well. 119-107, Cam, final score. I cash it. Denver Nuggets money line, baby, plus 160.
Let's take a look at the results of these games. Other than the Boston Celtics covering the spread, how many underdogs out of the last 10 games? Has it been 8-2, 9-1? What favorites win? Indiana took care of business against Cleveland. Even the Knicks covered that other game. Denver's covered the both game. They lost.
You sort of throw the point
7.
spread out a bit now. Yeah. Like if you like a team, just take the money line, even if they're the underdog. Right? Like it's sort of like the Super Bowl. You take the favorite or the. I didn't even take the points tonight in this game. And normally I'm not a big money line guy. I'm like, well, let's take the points, but playoffs is different, right? Denver needed to win this game, and I thought they could, and they did. So it was a nice payday at plus 160. We miss out, though, on the Capitals earlier tonight at plus 145. That would have been a nice that would have been a good hit. But so we're going 7 right now. Sunday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern time, the Oklahoma City Thunder will host the Denver Nuggets. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 8-point favorites in this game. The total is 212. So the Nuggets are getting 8 on the road. The total is 212. They're plus 260 on the money line. And the updated NBA futures right now, and we were talking about this throughout the week about Oklahoma City, how it's insane, how heavily favored they are, despite the fact that they're not even guaranteed to get through here. So last night was a good example. The Denver Nuggets last night, guys, were 28-1. 28-1 to win the NBA championship. After winning this game right now, they're now 10-1. That's what kind of massive jumps you get.
This is very important to know. Series prices like this is the way to gamble and make money. This was the Mark Lawrence special, Gabe. This is what smart people do. Think about your stock. Like now you got a stock, like you bought in low and now it's worth something. It offers hedge opportunities. It's a great way to gamble.
Right now, in the similar way with the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets are that team. The Jets are 25-1 right now. They win this game, it's going to get cut in half.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
that is
not doing
incorrect.
That.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even play good.
Quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the Hustlers, the people who bust them, everybody else in between. All right, the second period has just come to a close. Winnipeg are dominant tonight. Even though it's only a 1-0 game, they're out shooting Dallas 21-9 tonight. Man, it's really crazy. It's like the episode of Seinfeld with the, when he went out with the girl that he met at the party there. And sometimes she was hot and sometimes she wasn't, depending on the light.
Yeah, lighting at the diner. That was the best.
That's the Winnipeg Jets. Like, the Jets, when they play at home, it's like, yeah, these guys look like, I understand why they won the President's Trophy. They look really good. And then when they go on the road, it's like, how the hell did this team win 55 games, right? When you watch them, like, how did this tein win? Yeah, they're two-faced. That's who they are.
The best is they show her. She's like, wow, she's hot. Then she goes to the corner. She's so beat down. Like it's just like, that was a great episode. Good call by you.
One quick thing before we bring Mick in. I saw a funny clip the other day at the Dallas Star game. They had two players from FC Dallas mic'd up, so they were at the game and they were sitting like ringside, right, right, and they're drinking beer, like they're talking to each other, and like neither of them really knew anything about hockey. One guy sort of thought he did, and it was too good, man. It was like this dude, like this African dude on FC Dallas. He says, man, why do they all have beards, man? He goes, what's up with that? Why do they all have beards? And like, so they're right there, right? Like they're right on the glass. And the European guy looks at him and he goes, because it's cold on the ice. Their face gets cold. They need the beard for protection. And the African guy goes, that makes sense. He goes, yeah, it makes sense. And they're like, and I'm thinking, man, like, no, like if someone's got to tell them, no, they grow the beard. It's a playoff tradition. You grow the beard until you get eliminated. You want to make it to the finals and have the long beard, right? But it was too good. When the guy said to him, he goes, because they get cold. It's on the ice. They need protection for their face. The buddy was like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. It was just too good.
That's great.
It's too good. Mick Aussie steps up and in from Edmonton. So, Mick, the Edmonton Oilers keep winning, and the Oiler fans keep fighting every night on Twitter. There's these, like, Oiler brawls and stuff like that. Are you the one posting these? You could get a lot of hits for your Twitter account, Mick. Just go down to the party down there and watch the kids fight.
Oh, mate, I don't know about that. The police said the crowds are well behaved on the radio, but they're very happy, mate, eh? Very, very happy.
They're well behaved on the radio.
Yeah, you got some police department down there in Edmonton. The town's on fire, bro. Well behaved.
Exactly.
You got brawls and like everywhere. Like, unless that's normal. I don't know. Maybe it's a normal. Maybe it's a normal event. But anyone knows, too, online. You just look it up. It's all over the place right now. But hell of a run by the Edmonton Oilers, Mick. And I'm telling you, Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, Evander Kane's a big difference maker for this team. He's just one of those guys. He's like Brad Marchand, right? You know what I mean? Like, he annoys the other team. You want him on your team. And Evander, too, he's hit or miss, this guy, right? Yeah, he could have problems. He could have this going on in his life or whatnot. Like, you could tell he's hell-bent on winning a Stanley Cup right now. Corey Perry playing like the way he's Skinner. I'm excited, Mick. I got to tell you, I think the Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Well, mate, we got Connor back here with me, as you'll see, but you're right, Evander Kane. Listen, you guys diss Edmonton. Well, Cam, you don't. But Evander Kane is settled there. He hasn't got his little problems he had down in LA and Vegas. He's settled down, and they've really done nicely. But this is the danger, mate. You wait until Draisaitl and McDavid get over their little addiction. They got a little addiction right now that's affecting their game. I don't know what they put in these mouth guards, but they chew the absolute crap out of them, and it affected Draisaitl. It got in his vision the other night, and he let that goal in. So I'm very upset the way they chew those mouth guards. It looks stupid. How can you breathe properly when you got your mouth guard hanging out? Stick it back in your mouth. Or go and spend $300 and get a proper one made up. So you wait till they get rid of that little mouth guard chewing addiction. And these two ladies I talked to that love hockey and love those two players at the dentist, they totally agree with me. Stick your mouth guard back in your mouth. You can't breathe properly. If I was the opposition player, I would grab it and rip it and throw it on the ground.
Mick Aussie.
Oh, this guy.
I did not expect. I didn't expect a mouthpiece take from you, Mick. I'd like to see. I'd like to see you show up at their practice and give them a talk about this. But
they'll be better. You watch once they get rid of that.
It's their lucky mouthpiece. They've had the same ones.
your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing
him
your thing
because
now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have
down on a take
No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. All right, let's do this thing. We got a 1-0 hockey game. Pressure is on the Winnipeg Jets to extend the series. They're in tough, though. Like we were talking earlier, no confidence about the Toronto Maple Leafs going on the road here. It's just hard to believe in them. I sort of believe in the Jets a little. I don't think the Jets are as heartless as the Leafs are, but the Jets are as pretty much useless. Like they're more useless on the road than the Leafs are. The Leafs would kind of be better off on the road, actually. Like I think the Leafs could win on the road, and then the Leafs would choke at home after, right? The Leafs feel the pressure at home. Winnipeg is different. Winnipeg thrives under the pressure at home, and then they go on the road, and they're a completely different team. They're down 2-0 like 3 minutes into the game all the time. It's bizarro world. How do you feel, Mick? I know you always enjoy seeing the Toronto Maple Leafs implode and struggle in the playoffs.
Cam, put your fingers in your ears right now. Yeah, mate, I couldn't support the Leafs even if they made it to the final. I just couldn't do it, mate. That's not anti-Canadian. It's just too many of their fans have annoyed me over the years, mate.
I've heard it all, Mick. You're nothing like you can slap me across the face. Trust me, I get it every day.
Well, tomorrow we'll find out what this team is made of.
Yeah,
I think they'll play well, but they'll probably lose tomorrow. I don't think they're going to lose 6-1, but you know what I mean. It's hard to believe that they have something in them.
Imagine they lose like the way they did at home, like 7-1 or 7-2 or something. Like that's just, I don't even know what to say. Like the problem with the Leafs is it is essential that they get the first couple goals in the game. If Florida goes up 2 or 3-0, they're done. They'll pack it in so quick. They got their golf tee time the next day. They're ready to go. That's the whole thing. They gotta be in the game quick. And that's not happening recently. It's a problem.
Most teams, it's not the end of the world if you're down 3-2. We just saw it with the Denver Nuggets tonight. But Nuggets have that championship pedigree. All right, let's get into this, Mick. Sydney and Carlton, the first game up on the board here. And Sydney did it to me again last week, Mick. Again. Like, I swear to I'm done. I'm really, 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 really effing done with this team. Who'd they lose to? Hawthorne. The game was on TV. It was like after we were on. It was on the Friday night, whatever. It was like 2 a.m. I was like, oh, look, Sydney and Hawthorne are on. And Sydney were winning. I had them like minus 154 or something on the money line. They were winning most of the game. They got outscored at the end. I'm really freaking done with this team. Like, I'm either only going to bet against them or just ignore them. And here they are laying 8.5 points against Carlton, Mick.
Well, you're right. The Swans absolutely terrible against the Bombers last week. They lost. Now, I'm an idiot. I'm going to stick with them, but take Carlton Blues on the plus. Most people are backing the Blues, but I don't like them. They've lost their big ruckman to Koning. It's in Sydney. One last chance for the Swans, but take the Blues on the plus if you're going to bet that.
That's Dubsy's team, Gabe. You can't bet the Swans.
They're legit, like, started to be on my list of most disliked teams. Like,
yeah,
who's on your list?
I've lost like 5 bets in a row. I swear to God, and big ones a couple of times too with this team. And I always I don't want to bet on them, but I think they're going to win tonight. Collingwood and Adelaide. Your Adelaide Crows, Mick, are getting 11.5 points against Collingwood. What do you think of this one?
Oh, absolute ripper, mate. Now, listen, Crows have gone very close to beating Collingwood the last few times. Even in Melbourne, they got ripped off. Crows are a lot better now. I've gone for the win. They're unchanged, no injuries. They're 3-pronged big forward attack. They got little fellas. They're going very nicely. Collingwood have got some injuries. Take the Crows on the plus as the best bet. I'm actually going their money line as well. And so a few other people think they can get it done this time. Collingwood are very good, though.
Yeah, Collingwood 7-2 on the season. The Adelaide Crows 6-3 on the season. We were talking about Collingwood, great start to this year, 7-2, very, very good team. Adelaide, surprise start this year. All right, what about the rest of the games here, Mick? What are your best bets? What do you like? Great Western Sydney, Fremantle. We got Port Adelaide and Geelong. Western Bulldogs, Essendon. What do you like?
All right, I like the Geelong Cats to beat Port Adelaide Power, and Power got a tough draw. They're going down. We beat them last week, so Cats are very good, and in Adelaide as well. Giants should win easily over the Fremantle Dockers there in Sydney. Dockers are terrible. If they lose again, their coach might get fired. They're going so bad, and they were tipped to go really well this year. Giants have hit a bit of form as well. Dogs and the Bombers. Yeah, the Western Bulldogs, they're going well. They lost up there in Darwin. Essendon Bombers have had some wins lately, but not against too many good teams. I think the Dogs will get that done as well.
They're 24.5-point favorites, Western, against the Bombers. Richmond and North Melbourne. Not often you see North Melbourne favored like this. 10.5-point favorites against Richmond, Mick.
Yeah, they're coming good. They've been terrible the last few years. They're coming good. They drew with the reigning premiers down there in Tasmania last week. I think they'll get that done. Tigers, their young kids are doing all right, but nah, 2 of the worst teams in the league.
And we got Brisbane, the top team in the league, taking on Melbourne near the bottom, sitting in 15th place here at 3-6. Brisbane 7-1 on the season. Who do you like in this game, Mick?
Yeah, Brisbane will get that done easily up there in Brisbane, Gabba, where they're going to hold the Olympic Games soon. Well, they're building a new stadium. Lions is good moneyline multi-material. Take the Lions, the Dogs, and the Saints, who the Saints should beat your West Coast Eagles. They're 0-9, the West Coast Eagles, maybe one of the worst teams ever in the history of the AFL. So there's some moneyline multi. Brisbane Lions, Western Bulldogs, and St Kilda Saints. And the fourth team I would add to that would be the GWS Giants and maybe the Geelong Cats after that. So try and get a 4 or 5 moneyline multi parlay. And I've had some good success with those. If you go for 8 or 9 teams, you're not going to get it. But a 4 or 5 moneyline multi, I like it.
Yeah, St. Kilda are only minus 286 on the money line, which it's not that high considering, as Mick stated, West Coast are 0-9 and might be one of the worst teams in the history of the AFL. All right, Mick, before we get you out of here, the NFL announced a big international slate. The NFL is going to London, playing a bunch of games. You're going to London, but not for the NFL. What are you going to London for, Mick?
Yes, mate. June the 10th, I will be there for the 5-day test match. That's test cricket. It is the test championship, the World Test Championship, the best 2 test match teams over the past 2 years. It's Australia versus South Africa. Australia won it 2 years ago, and our boy Travis Head was man of the match. So I'm going there for 5 days and then another week to Belfast and maybe Netherlands and staying close to Lords. It's the home of cricket, Lords, so it's going to be fantastic. My best mate, Simon Head, will be there, Travis's dad, so looking forward to it, mate. As long as it doesn't rain. That'd be disastrous if it rains, mate.
5-day test match. So what, you really going to go for 5 days in a row, or like how many days there?
Yeah.
Really? Huh?
Yeah, I've paid for 4 days worth of tickets. It might be over in 4 days. I've got a 6-day ready in case it does rain. Mate, I love it walking around.
Tell the boss, I'll be back next month. See you, Jerry. I'm gone. Like, they have like longer than 5-day tests, man. That's cricket stuff's a real commitment. You gotta be hardcore. Like, seriously. How long's the match? The longest? I think it's for a week or two? A week or two?
Yeah, 5 days is the maximum, but they've
4
allowed
days
an
or 5
extra
days,
day.
if it goes 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still long. I thought they used to go for a week. Okay. Wow.
Good stuff, Mick. Sounds like an epic, it's like the ultimate cricket trip you're going on. That's some good stuff. All right, so we'll get some picks before we'll get some picks before you go.
Yeah, and the lads are going. They're going to go from the IPL India straight to London. Some of the Aussie lads, but the IPL starting up again. See you later, guys. Have a good week.
You're gonna miss the Elks home opener.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn
Ewers. Ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
no, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect.
That. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Let's roll this here, SportsRage. I am Morency. We're to the home stretch right now. Speaking of which, we got the Preakness this weekend. Got a 1-0 game. The third period has just started. The Denver Nuggets victorious tonight. So the Nuggets send this series to 7 games. Let's send it to Colorado right now. Our main man, Big Card Julio, Sasquatch, in the mountains joins us. What's going on, Julio? How you doing tonight?
Sasquatch.
Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets continue to impress everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Cam, I hope you guys are doing well in the greater Toronto area.
Not really, Julio. Thanks.
I was like, why? Is there a tornado or something like that?
The
you're referring to the Toronto Maple Leafs collapse, Julio.
it's that terrible time of the year, but I hope the Leafs get it together, man. Too talented of a team not to perform well in the postseason. So hopefully they get it together.
An international
in Sunrise.
joke.
Are you taking them tomorrow, Julio?
I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'll probably take first period over 1.5 goals. It's just tough to trust this team, man. Where's the fire coming from? Is it coming from the captain? It's got to.
No, it won't.
No, that's the problem. They don't have that the next gear. So the Winnipeg Jets on the power play right now, up 1-0. This would be massive for that's big. That's big. So the Winnipeg Jets just started their power play. And who was that did that? But somebody on the Jets, Lindell just tripped a Winnipeg Jet player like seconds into the power play. So great timing for the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets are basically going to have 2 minutes of a two-man advantage here right now. Big time chance. And it's only 1 minute of the period. 18:08, my bad. It's still 2 minutes, whatever, less than 2 minutes in the period, which means the ice is still fresh. Like you can see the ice is still fast right now. This is like perfect for the Winnipeg Jets. Also, kind of perfect for the Dallas Stars, or bad for the Winnipeg Jets if they don't score, because the crowd is going crazy right now. And watch, if the Dallas kills it off, watch, they'll score immediately after. All right, so Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks tomorrow. Really tough game to pick, guys. It was almost kind of obvious Boston were going to win last night. Now I'm not so sure, though. I don't really trust the Knicks at home. I think they can feel the pressure, but I don't think Boston will play as well as they did last night. So I don't want to cop out right now, but I'm leaning with the New York Knicks. Julio, who do you think wins tomorrow, the Celtics or the Knicks? Are we going 7, or is it all over?
I trust Tom Thibodeau, so give me the New York Thibs, the Knicks -2.5 tomorrow.
It's bold that you trust him. I don't recall him winning any championships in the past.
All I know is that guy sweats a lot and he gets angry. But anyway, here's the deal. If you like Boston, you take them series. So we talked about before, they're +230 on my book, right? So they win that game and you got a good situation for game 7. That's the way I look at it, Gabe, with the Leafs. Like if they're going to win tomorrow, I got them at +530 in my pocket. Probably won't.
Yeah, but I'm not a big hedger. I don't mind taking these series stuffs earlier in the, and there it is, the Winnipeg Jets score. Winnipeg Jets score, so they're up 2-0 right now. They capitalized on the power play. They had to. Their power play has been a big problem. Everyone's talking about like Hellebuck all the time. Their power play has sucked. But there it is right there. They get a 2-0 lead. We all know about the dreaded 2-0 lead, but we're at the 17:40 mark. They got a 2-0 lead. Crowd going crazy. Jets now up. Remember that total went down to 3.5. They haven't popped up a new one here yet. We'll get you the new total. All right, Julio, what do you got for us? What are your best bets, Julio?
I got 2 college football season win totals for you guys. Mentioned last week, pulled the trigger, North Carolina under 7.5 wins. And man, this could be a tough year for Bucky the Badger in Madison. I look at their schedule. I don't know where they're getting 6 wins from this year. It's going to be tough. I think they lose to Illinois. I think they have Michigan on their schedule. They do play Washington, where I do think they'll win. So give me Wisconsin under 5.5 wins. They're going to be playing like Limburger cheese and not cheddar cheese in Madison. Limburger's the smelly, nasty cheese up in Wisconsin. It's terrible.
They've got they get Miami, Ohio in the opener, so they'll win that game. They host Middle Tennessee. They'll win that game. They go to Alabama. They'll lose that game. They host Maryland. They'll beat Maryland, so they're up to 3 there. Wisconsin at Michigan. Michigan should beat them. Iowa at Wisconsin. Winnable game for Wisconsin. Ohio State at Wisconsin. They won't beat Ohio State. Wisconsin at Oregon's a tough spot for them. They host Washington. They go to Indiana. They host Illinois, and then they go to Minnesota. Julio, I look at this, I could see them, I look at this and I sort of see 6-6. right now, just sort of quickly going through it.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm leaning the underside, but I agree with you. That's where I sort of fall at 6 for Wisconsin. You've got the FA Cup this weekend in England. Give me Manchester City minus 134 against Crystal Palace. And Gabe, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The best over 2.5 goal team in the MLS is the Chicago Fire. So give me over 2.5 goals. Charlotte and Chicago Fire this weekend. I also like Wilfred Zaha to score a goal. Can't find the number right now, but Wilfred Zaha for Charlotte to score against Chicago.
We got super lucky last Saturday with that Chicago game, going over the number. Who was it? It was Chicago and Atlanta, right? Wasn't it? And I swear Chicago scored like 1-0, like 10 minutes in. I was like, oh, this game's going to sail over to 2.5. And then nothing happened, and then freaking Atlanta tied it, like in the 80th minute. And then we got really lucky. Chicago scored, I think, in the 94th minute or something like that. So, as Julio stated, the Chicago Fire overs have been a great bet this year. I think it's like 9-2 now or something. 9-3, 10-3, whatever it is. Big card Julio on special tape delay from the mountains of Colorado. Thanks, Julio.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a tape
I'm not doing that. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Let's roll this at SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. All right, we're to the home stretch here right now. Winnipeg Jets up 2-0. It's, I don't know why, it sort of feels like, I want to say, we're going 7 games, but we're not. It's not 7. This just extends it to 6 potentially. If, and it's a big if the Winnipeg Jets can just win on the road, they can win at home. Right, we see it. They're dominant at home. Like there's no disputing that they have home ice advantage in every series that they play in. They literally could have potentially lost every time they played on the road if they just could have won at home all the time. But Dallas, of course, got the game 1, and here we are right now. They're chasing it. But if they could steal this, I think they could win game 7. I kind of feel like the Leafs, and I had confidence in the Leafs coming into this thing, but I don't anymore, and I kind of get the feeling even if the Leafs somehow won this game, that they would find a way to lose Game 7. I'm not so sure they're going to be able to win tomorrow, Cam. I've already bet on the Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. I'm not really in a hurry to want to throw more money on the pile and set it on fire like people are burning Leaf jerseys tomorrow. Are you taking them? Plus 195.
Yeah, I already have them win the Stanley Cup, too. I have exact Stanley Cup finals, Carolina, Dallas, and Leafs, Dallas. Leafs are out. I'm toast on both. I do agree with your point, though. I think they'll have a lot more to say in Florida. Their performances at home have been pathetic, and we'll see what kind of heart they have. The last couple games have looked awful, but, I trust them more on the road, Gabe. Yeah, the price is insane, too. They're getting, what are they, plus 200? And, what are you getting on the plus 1.5? It's like, it's crazy prices, but Florida could kill them.
The plus 1.5 is a big time trap. Like I do that tonight with the Washington Capitals. I took the Capitals tonight to win the game, but I thought about it. I was like, I could take them on this alt line puck stuff, and I'm like, why? They're going to give up a couple of goals at the end, and same thing with the Leafs tomorrow. If the Leafs lose, they're going to get pumped, right? I'm not really worried about the plus 1.5 and stuff like that. I could live with rolling the dice at plus 195 one last time and dying on the hill because it is a nice payday. And I do think that they could be better on the road. I just don't, they're going to have to find some balls, though, here. Like, they have to care more. All right, so the PGA Championship, Johnny Vegas, first-round leader. He paid 200 to 1 to be the first-round leader. Nobody saw that one coming today. We'll see if, you got to imagine that this leaderboard sort of comes back down to earth a little bit as far as, you got Johnny Vegas, Ryan Gerard, Cam Davis, Luke Donald, Ryan Fox right now, Smalley at the top. But you look at the odds here, and the odds makers aren't buying. Scotty Scheffler's the favorite right now at plus 375. Bryson is 11 to 1. John Rahm is 18 to 1. Hatton is 18 to 1. So basically, a lot of these guys are kind of what they were before the tournament started. Rory's now 22 to 1. Hovland is 25 to 1. Who do you like now, Cam, with these updated numbers?
Well, I got Hovland at 60. He's 25. I got Hatton at 45.50. He's now 18. I want to make one point, Gabe. This guy might not win, but if there's going to be a weird situation, this kid Ryan Gerard is like one of the best top 20 guys on the tour. He went to the University of North Carolina. He's a Tar Heel. Not a lot of guys go to that school for golf, but Gerard did, and this is a home game for him. He's played this course a lot, and as you see behind Johnny Vegas, he's in the 2-hole right now. So if there is going to be a surprise, the problem is Gerard was 100 to 1 at the start of the tournament. Now he's 38.
Yeah, what are the chances that he doesn't implode tomorrow and or Saturday along the way?
No, I'm just saying, though, from a guy, like, I'm not going to say he's going to win, but Ryan Gerard is like T7. Like, he's really improving, and asking him to win a major is very tough. But in this tournament, we've had Sean McKeel. We've had a lot of weird winners here at the PGA Championship. This is the one where some guy at 100 to 1 might actually have a chance. Horrible start for the favorites in this tournament. And good news if you're a Scheffler backer, he's the best out of the chalk at -2.
Yeah, I still think Scheffler's in the mix. I think Bryson actually is still in the mix here right now. I could see him kind of stepping up as this thing goes on. Nobody talked about John Rahm before the tournament started, but looks like this thing is still like crazy wide open. I saw a stat that like the last, like 8-10 winners or whatever. It was, I forget what many tournaments it was, but that you have to be within 5 shots of the lead after the first day. 74 guys are right now. So like, so it's like basically nothing really happened yet. You know what I mean? Besides people cashing their first round bets today, but this thing is just still so wide open. We'll catch you on the Friday Night Freak Show. 2-0 Jets still right now. Other than that, you're on your own later.